Good morning, America. Thanks for joining us here on the Andy Kirkendall Show, where Andy interviews actors, writers, filmmakers, athletes, musicians, songwriters, and more, and asks them, what do you do and why do you do it? So sit back, grab a cup of coffee, and enjoy the show.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Moments. Thank you for joining us today. Today I have from the Collier Animation Studio, Kevin and Kristen Collier. Welcome to Morning Moments.
Thank you. Andy, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
We've been connected for a while, and I have finally had an opportunity to have you on Morning Moments. So let me ask the question to this power couple. What do you do and why do you do it?
I would like him to start. He's the head of the house.
What we do many things. We're authors and all kinds of stuff, but animation, animated Christian cartoons is what we do. We create them. And why do we do it? Because animation is the top entertainment form in all demographics. It doesn't matter who you are, where you are in the world. In fact, during the lockdowns, during the COVID lockdowns, animation was the only entertainment form that was still active and being produced because people could do it online. Voiceovers are sent in, illustrators can work online. So, and with that big audience that animation has, if we want to preach the gospel or bring the word of Christ out there, it's an easy vehicle to do so because who doesn't like cartoons?
Yeah,
it's good for families. It's good for the kids. You know, we never grow up and out of cartoons.
And you've been doing animation for quite a while yourself, right?
Well, my wife has, but not very long.
I learned animation during the lockdown. In fact, I started Collier Animation Studio right here. This is our son's old bedroom. And it was April 3rd, I remember, and I wrote it down. I have a little Post-it note and I saved it because I just was determined to, I love Kevin's art and his characters. This is Buster the Blobfish from the upcoming Benny the Barnacle. And I've been determined for almost 20 years that his characters would become cartoons. And so finally, during the lockdown, I thought, you know what, if I have to do it myself at age 51, I will. And so if you want to go make disciples, go and make disciples of all nations. Animation is the way to go because cartoons will reach young and old people.
Yeah, and there's a real deficiency in Christian content for animation because most people will reproduce the Jonah and the whale, Noah's Ark with all the little animals on board. And so they do biblical stories, they retell it. Well, kids are like, hey, we learned that in Sunday school. Do we have to learn that outside of Sunday school? So what we do is we take mainstream like characters and then give them faith and put them on adventures.
Well, and that's important because to go and make disciples, we're not just trying to reach Christian audiences. So and cartoon characters are like eye candy. There's a reason why Scooby-Doo is one of the most popular and beloved characters of all time that people of all ages will still watch.
Yeah, I mean, he's been around for over 50 years. And who doesn't know Scooby-Doo? You can find somebody in the most remote places in the world, you know, watching Scooby-Doo cartoons on their cell phone.
So cartoons are like eye candy. You can catch a person, you can catch a non-believer visually, and if you're a clever writer, you can possibly partner with the Holy Ghost and help lead them to the Lord, and that's our goal.
True.
And you've teamed up with some voiceover people who are well known in the faith-based film industry too, haven't you?
Yeah, Creative Motion Network that we started that streaming Roku channel. The word network was never meant to be a channel. It was meant to be networking. And that's exactly what we did. That's how we met Andy and all of these other people that we work with now in our cartoons. So God kind of opened that up for a couple of years. We had a Roku channel featuring all these Christian celebrities, entertainers, and ministry programs. And we formed really great fellowship with these people and friendships. And then when it came a time where we needed voices for the cartoons, we reached out and everybody was happy to volunteer. And I created a cartoon for the studio with the brand name Allendale Christian Media, Tiny Ocean Tales. And that cartoon features undersea creatures. And like you said, there's celebrities in these cartoons. In that one, Venus Monique, who, her from Vindication, she does the voice of a jellyfish named Jolly. And Skeety Jenkins is in there. We've had Gary Nation just played a character in our latest episode 3 of Tiny Ocean Tales. And one that I'm writing now, it's not the 4th episode, that's in production. The 5th episode will feature a bunch of clownfish making jokes. And the clownfish will be Ryan McChesney, June Colson, Maurice Brown, Dave Ebert. I mean, so it's a lot of fun and they enjoy doing it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember our pastor talking, we have a small country church and he was saying, well, we don't have a lot of resources. Right away you think of ka-ching, the money. And I said, but pastor, remember, people are resources too.
Right. They
can provide something for the ministry that you couldn't afford to buy. So, all of us have this a little bit of extra time where we can help one another too. And we try to make that a model where we form a network of fellowship with brothers and sisters in Christ, and they become involved in what you're doing because they see a mission there. They see a mission.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, a lot of it is that identity issue. It's like, what am I going to be? What am I going to do? Am I going to have success? Am I going to get, the whole social media thing, what's bad about it is the attention factor.
Yeah.
It's everybody wanting attention. When I was a kid, you didn't take a picture of yourself. I mean, they would have thought you were nuts and put you in an institution.
Yeah.
But now, you have the average 13-year-old girl taking 100 pictures of herself a day in a mirror and posting them on Facebook. So we want to, we don't want it to be about us at all. And it's not. It's taking our talent and putting it out there to advance the word of Jesus Christ. And it's just that when you can miss God's blessing when you get in the way of it. We are the obstacle a lot of the time about where the pathway will lead, because we think it's about us and we get in the way of God's plan, or we choose another door when he's opened this one and it's obvious. So you really have to seek him out, and we see that plainly. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's kind of like, God, you don't even have to remind us. We see it, okay? We get it, we're walking through that door. So I think the whole identity thing has to go away. If I want an identity at all, I want Jesus to say to me, you've been a good and faithful servant. Mm-hmm. And that's what it's all about. It's not about me. The me is for him. And that gives me value. That's the attention I want. That's the value I get.
Folks can look at your animation studio far as the website that they could go into. And they could look at what you've already produced, but because you're creatives, you might be able to create something for their church or their organization or for them that maybe they've got ideas for, because you're people who are very open to whatever God has for you, aren't you?
Right. Well, my wife can talk about the Resurrection Rabbit cartoon. Yeah, that is actually an independent cartoon. She is animating for a client and a friend.
Cherry the Resurrection Rabbit is a registered children's charity, and it's a singing bunny that sings bluegrass songs. And I'm currently making a musical, Cherry the Resurrection Rabbit, and it's hilarious and adorable. And it's going to be on streaming channels. And this is basically, I'm announcing this now. This is not been announced yet, that Cherry will be on streaming channels. I think I made 12 videos of her. So they're music videos all put together. And I'm also making a musical. But so I think the 12 videos, it's maybe about 30 minutes or 40 minutes long. So that will be coming to streaming channels. And the thing is she sings in a little voice like this, so it's hilarious. And actually, the creator of the series is right now in Nashville, at this moment recording her next album. She has massive amounts of DVDs, she has books, and she just got into cartoons last year, and so now we'll be going on streaming channels. And the thing about it is that in her real life, the creator of the series is a great woman she's a pro-life lawyer. She helps churches. She's argued cases before the Supreme Court. She wrote some friend of the court briefs that helped overturn Roe versus Wade, and she started Cherry the Resurrection Rabbit to help abused children. So, and Kevin, I think that she's so cute, and also she went to seminary, this lady, and so her
not the lady's so cute, the bunny's so cute.
Well,
the lady is fine too, but the bunny is super cute.
The thing is Debbie, the creator of the series, her writing is very theologically sound. So it's not annoying baby sharks, but theologically sound songs, which you don't get that in most hymns these days. So this is an excellent series, and the bunny is adorable. So we think this is going to go right to #1 on streaming channels when she gets on there. So it's a blessing to be, and like I said before, these cartoons, I make each music video in just a few hours. So people who think, oh, what can I do? I'm just one person. Andy, there are a lot of women out there who are children's authors. They hire somebody to illustrate their book. They pay thousands of dollars. They could spend that same money and get several cartoons for the same price and reach millions. Just Tubi alone has 64 million monthly viewers. And the thing is a children's book, as I said, a person has to be motivated to purchase it versus having your cartoon on Tubi. All they have to do is click play, so you can reach millions more people with the gospel.
So if you've written a children's book and you want to know how to get a hold of them and what they could do for you, or maybe what you could do for yourself through some of the software they've talked about, get a hold of them. Right. I have found that what God's been doing with Morning Moments is connecting people to people, and you have found that too, because when it's a God connection, it's amazing things can happen. Yeah. As we look down below, we've had that website that you could get a hold of them. Please check them out. If you want to get in communication with them, just get a hold of them and say, hey, I saw your video, I saw your interview with Andy, and I'd like to talk to you more about that. Please do so, because there's a reason you're watching this interview, no matter what platform or how it's being viewed for you. There's a reason this is in front of you right this moment. So I want you to just pray. Is that something I need to do? Is that something I need to get a hold of them? Even if it doesn't connect to you at all, there's still something you need to do. And here's what I'm going to ask you to do. As soon as this interview is over, I want you to stop and pray for this animation studio. I want you to pray for Kevin and Kristen, that God would continue to use them in this chapter of their life. You see, this power couple desperately needs your prayers, and you need the practice. So pray that God would work through them in a great and mighty way. What a great message. What a great guest that you've been. And thank you so much for joining us on Morning Moments. Please pass this interview on to somebody else, and keep coming back, and may God richly bless you.